You were one dirty for clicking this video, you know that? But now you're here, I guess we better get on with what you came here for. Today, we're going to be looking at The Walking Dead, a hardcore parody. Now, I'm obviously not going to be reviewing the shagging part itself, so if you're here for that, then politely fuck off. What I'm going to do in this video is see how good of an actual parody the film is. Like, see how well they use things from the show in the parody to add to the comedy or the storyline. Anyway, a parody does obviously involve taking the piss out of the original media, but a point of a parody is also to put a comedic spin on it. So, we're also going to be speaking about whether or not this parody is funny. And we've got to remember this is a porno, so I don't really have high hopes. So right off the bat, we get an intro scene, and I feel like this was really a wasted opportunity. Like, in the actual show, while they show the actors' names, they'll always have, like, their iconic weapons laying on the floor in the photos. So, like, how hard would it have been in this? Just chuck a dildo in there and dirty it up a bit? I don't know, I feel like that could have really made it a bit funnier, as this intro is just kind of boring. It's just like a worse version of the actual Walking Dead intro, which I don't know, no point in it, to be honest. Anyway, in the original show, Rick waking up in the hospital is one of the most iconic scenes from the show, so they got that in this porno. And I've got to say, they did put some effort in here. They even made a whole little hallway up, and look, they threw some paper on the floor. Set design, baby. I particularly loved the door, and I like what they've done with it. They put a spin on the don't open dead inside. But for this, they changed it to dead inside, fuck them. Which is a bit of an odd statement. I don't know why you'd want to fuck to their bodies. I can't imagine that's very good for anyone involved. But I do actually find it pretty funny, you know, dead inside, fuck them. It's exactly what a parody should be doing. You know, they use something from the show, they put a comedic spin on it. And they even made it make sense within their parody, because as we're about to find out, cum shots kill the zombies. So, I mean, well done there, I guess. Mate, fuck me, what am I doing? Sat here reviewing this was actually like a piece of cinema or something. Anyway, after that, Rick is pulled to the ground and attacked by a zombie, and by attacked, I mean pulled to the ground and sucked off.
What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm married!
And this is where we find out that cum shots to the brain kill the zombies. Then, in the next scene, Rick goes home to find his family. And just like he does in the actual show, he looks around but finds nobody there. So he sits down, and in the original show he looks through small photos, but in this version he goes one step above that and starts sniffing her old dildo collection.
That is disgusting. No wonder you covered that up.
I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching this through for the first time, that did get a little chuckle out of me. I didn't see it coming. Then, after a bit of moping about, he gets his sheriff hat on, and he hits the road to look for his family. Then the following scene shows us what Laurie's up to, and just like the original show, she's off banging Shane. But, in this version, Carl actually catches them.
Carl? Shane and I are having a very important conversation about how to keep you alive.
And they were definitely not talking. Anyway, Shane tries to get Laurie to take her chain off, the one that Rick gave her. And she does, you know, fight back a bit against that. But after a little word, she takes that thing right off.
Okay, I know, but it kind of shapes my cock when I titty fuck you. It's kind of annoying.
Motherfuck this thing.
They then get back to what they started, but unfortunately for them, Carl gets in the way again. But this time, he's got Sophia with him. And just before they shoo the kids away, Sophia swipes their dildo. You little rascal, you. That Sophia's always getting up to no good. She's either running off or nicking sex toys. Carl then starts reminiscing about the time he found his mum's sex toy stash, Sophia, and she's got some pretty interesting items in that box.
Butt plugs, anal beads, rubber fist, parking cone.
And I've got to say, at this point, it was just really starting to feel a bit off. They're like meant to be playing children, so it's a bit weird. They're just talking about sex toys and stuff, but it is just meant to be a little fun parody, but it is still a bit weird, right? But I don't know, man. It's just, there's so many adult characters they could have used. Like, this just seems like a pedo's wet dream. Anyway, Andrea starts arguing with Shane and Laurie, and we get some really good dialogue here.
If this is his best, why am I the only one not getting my fucking pussy pounded? I'll tell you why. Because I hate dicks. I go out every day looking for pussy, and guess what I find? Walking dead dicks. You wanna know what I do with those dicks? Fucking chop them off and use them as dildos.
But then zombies come in, they attack, and they get rid of poor Sophia. I'm glad they actually just eat this girl rather than what they did to Rick earlier on, because that could have gone very dark. We then cut to meet Daryl. Well, I assume this is Daryl anyway. And he makes his way over to the RV, which is where 3 zombies are actually getting it on. So I guess in this universe, the zombies also shag each other. I don't really know the whole mindset on how they work in this universe. And also, while we're on that topic, I wonder what makes a zombie want to fuck or eat a human. Like, what is the deciding factor there? We're only halfway through, so we might find out later, but if there's one thing I should know about porn, is that they like to have very clear character motivation.
Maybe it's hard to, especially with them nipples sticking out of your shirt and all that.
Oh, you like that?
Of course I like that.
Anyway, Daryl takes out the male zombies and steals his 2 women. And then Daryl gets to business with them. And it was while he was doing his business with these 2 that I realised that they're groaning a lot, like they're making the zombie noises. Now, I don't know if you knew this, but in the original show, none of the zombie noises you hear are recorded on set. So whenever there's a zombie in the shot, they're always actually silent in real life. But for this, I'm assuming they didn't do that, so these poor women are just having to be fucked while pretending to be a zombie and making those noises. I hope they got paid well. Anyway, Daryl gives them both a cum shot and they like slowly die, so I guess, you know, it's like a poison to them kind of thing. Oh, mate, I don't know why I keep trying to, like, you know, pick apart things in this. Like, this is just fucking stupid. Anyway, in the next scene, the group find a place to hold up in, and it was at this point that I realised that Carl looks a lot like Pete Davidson, so I don't even know why I needed to mention that, but I don't know, he does look like him, right? I'm not crazy. So then they all start arguing about whose fault it is that Sophia got left behind and died, and as you can imagine, the acting's great here.
You didn't go back and check, you selfish bitch. Fuck you!
Anyway, Shane and Laurie go sit in the other room. I'm sure it's just because, you know, after that, you know, running around that argument, they just need to lay down together. That's definitely all that's going on in there. Then suddenly, Rick walks through the door. Not really too sure how he found them, but I don't really think we're supposed to think about that part. They hug it out, and then Carl tells him about Sophia, and this line really caught me off guard.
She wants me to put dildos in her ass.
Oh. That's a special girl, Carl.
I will say one thing about this parody is that it is quite funny. It's gotten a few chuckles out of me, so it's doing a good job there.
Anal isn't gonna be around much longer unless you're into fucking men.
I'm not into men.
That's good, Carl.
Rick then goes to find his wife, you know, as he misses her. He hasn't seen her in a while, and the first thing he sees is Shane with a face full of her ass. So obviously they start fighting, you know, given the situation, but because this is a porno, that fighting quickly turns to loving. After that quick gangbang, Shane decides that he doesn't want to give up Laurie, because in his words,
I tell you, Rick, your boy, wife's pussy is something else. Pussy is something else, you'd be proud.
So he pulls a gun on Rick, but luckily, as we've seen, Laurie's got some fast hands, so she pulls a gun and ends that man real quick. Now, as some of you may remember from the actual show, when people die, they still turn into zombies. It's not just a bite that kills you. Any form of death will turn you into a zombie as long as the brain's still intact. So for this, they kept that concept in. So just before Shane gets up, Rick does something which really got a laugh out of me.
He's starting to turn.
Fortunately for me, as I actually have to watch this thing, Laurie just shoots Shane instead. I'm glad they didn't go down Rick's route, so I would not want to have to watch that. So they walk into the next room to meet a very traumatised Andrea and Carl.
You have horribly thin walls.
And you know, what I'm just realising, it's great how they've condensed like 2 seasons of the show into a hour 40 porno. Anyway, Carl's sick apparently, so they send off Andrea to go look for some meds. So they all sit down as a family, and Carl starts speaking about how he misses Sophia. He wants to go out looking for them, but his mum and dad think it's too dangerous. But one thing changes their mind.
That's something me and your mom have to agree on. What do you think, Laurie? She promised him sex.
Well, it's not safe out there, and he's really not feeling well. But who am I to deny my son of getting laid? I couldn't do that.
So that settles it for them. They set off to go looking for Sophia so that Carl can finally lose his virginity. I mean, talk about putting a spin on the original plot. Fuck me, they've gone wild for this. And it still feels a little bit weird that they're children characters. Anyway, while Andrea's off, like, looking for meds, she gets cornered by a bunch of zombies. And then Michonne turns up to save her, just like she does in the actual show, and oh boy, it doesn't look great. It's just 2 minutes of awful looking kills, but I guess they gotta keep some zombie murder in there since it is meant to be a Walking Dead parody. Then, after saving Andrea, of course Michonne fucks her, you know, because as you do. It's once they're done doing their thing, we cut straight to Andrea back with the rest of the group, and there's no sign of Michonne. So I'm not really sure where she went. She might just be a hump and dump type girl. But anyway, they're now off still looking for Sophia. And they get cornered, just like they have done multiple times in this already. And where they're cornered is like right next to this shutter, and they don't think to go underneath it. Well, not until someone actually tells them to anyway.
Let's kill them all!
Under here now! Come here! Get under! Quick!
And I'm assuming that this man is meant to be Glenn. So now they're safe, he takes them up to the roof, and they find a walker up there. An awfully familiar looking walker.
Shit, another walker. Don't worry, I got this one.
No, Glenn. Put your dick away.
Yeah, they found Sophia. So Carl's gonna do what he came here for. Rick gives him a little pep talk, and I've got to say, if there was like a list of pep talks, I'd definitely rank this one pretty high.
It's been some day, hasn't it, son?
Yeah.
We got lost and then united. Had a threesome with your mom and my best friend. And then we killed him twice. I gotta know, do you have it in you to go over there and fuck that girl and kill her with your cum?
Carl goes straight over and gets straight to business like that man is a fiend. Like, calm down boy, her trousers are still on. And it's really funny because while Carl's giving it to dead Sophia, his mum and dad are like just giving him tips from the sideline and cheering him on. Real supportive parents, you know what I mean? You love to see it. Anyway, Carl delivers the kill shot, I guess we'll say. And Sophia finally gets put to rest. And I'm glad that, you know, weird sex child storyline is over now. They then decide to go off to the prison, or the CDC. I'm not really sure what this place is meant to be. And when they get there, they kind of just grab some zombies and have a gangbang with them. And this masterpiece comes to a conclusion, I guess. But before it actually ends, we get a little sneak peek at the next season, which I don't think is actually coming. I think they just, you know, did this for shits and gigs.
I think I'm pregnant.
Why would you say that, baby?
I don't know, I just had a hunch and I'm...
Look, I'm no doctor, but if I had to guess, I'd say that woman's definitely pregnant. Suddenly a zombie bursts in, and the film actually ends with Carl cheering his dad on while he fingers a zombie with a gun.
Get her, Dad!
I've really never thought I'd say a sentence like that in my life. Well, that was the Walking Dead porn parody. This film definitely got some laughs out of me, and when I first saw it, I really didn't expect there to be as much effort going into it as I thought. But like as I said earlier, the zombie makeup did actually look pretty decent. And the poor actors, they really did try to stick to the bit throughout the film, and there was some funny line delivery, I'll give them that. You know, I bet it felt so awkward in some of them rooms, where it's just people, you know, getting fucked while groaning like a zombie in full makeup, but no, there is no but. It is just a bit weird, and props to them for actually managing to get through the filming process, because I don't think I'd be able to either keep a straight face or actually sit there and watch that happen. They did actually hit quite a few plot points from the show and put a spin on them, so it's clear that a little bit of time at least went into it, and it wasn't just, you know, let's chuck on the Walking Dead outfits and fuck and call it a parody. Fucking hell, alright, Joe, I'm not even gonna bother. Alright, I'm gonna start reviewing this now. This is stupid. Look, it was a decent parody, it made me laugh a bit, and the shagging was decent.